Hello Year 4, it's Mrs Evans here again to do another maths lesson with you. I hope you're all well and that you're enjoying our new topic on ancient Egypt. It's certainly a favourite of mine. Are you listening to our New Year band text on YouTube? It's a brilliant book and I think you're going to find lots of the book really quite funny. Right, okay, so today's maths lesson, we're going to be thinking about calculating fractions of an amount. Why are we going to be thinking about this in today's learning? Okay, well, the big picture is thinking about using fractions in everyday life. So, for example, I might have a pizza and my pizza's cut into 8 here, and I might think to myself, okay, I'll have 2/8 of my pizza, 2 parts of the 8 slices. It might be that when I'm going shopping, or online shopping at the moment, it's that we're thinking about reductions in price. So for example, this football here is half price, or you might see an offer with 1/4 of the price off something. So fractions come into lots of things in our everyday life. We're going to do a recap of a couple of the key vocabulary points in today's learning as well. So here we've got a fraction, so we've got 2/5. And we need to remember that the top number is the numerator and the bottom number is the denominator. And that's important because as we go through the lesson, we're going to be thinking about using these words. So just have a little look, just remind yourselves of those words there. Okay, so to be successful at calculating fractions, you need to be good at division. And we're doing lots of division work in school up to recent times, and we're going to be thinking about division in our starter activity. So let's have a look at it. And we'll also think about getting ourselves ready for our learning as well. In today's learning, just while we're getting our starter ready, you're going to need your home learning book and a pencil. A ruler or a straight edge, if you have it, would be also useful. So get your things ready and I'll join you in a minute with our starter activity. Okay, Year 4, hopefully you've got all your things ready now and we'll have a little look at our starter task. So just like we would do in school, you can choose your yellow section or your blue section, or both if you're feeling up for a challenge. You can see here our little ancient Egyptian character is actually saying how many 4s will go into 12. So when we look at this calculation, 12 divided by 4, we can use our understanding of counting in multiples to be able to say, well, how many 4s will go into 12? So if you're struggling to remember how to do division, you can think about that little clue here. So for this one, how many 9s will go into 27? I'll give you a moment to pause the video and have a go at that in your books. Okay, Year 4, how did you get on with that? So here we've got our answer sheet, so you can mark your own work. I'll give you a moment to do that and then join me in a moment for the main part of our lesson. Right, okay, so let's have a look at the main part of today's lesson then. So we've just practiced some division and we're going to need to use that when we're calculating fractions. I'm going to also use a bar model in today's lesson. We have had a look at that in school. Bar models help us massively when we're working out fractions, particularly when we're working out several parts of a whole, for example 4/6 or 7/9. So let's start off with a my turn and we're going to just look at one part of a whole at the moment, 1/5, or it could be 1/4 or 1/3. And we're going to just see if we can practice finding the fraction of the whole amount and using the bar model to help us. So I want to look at finding 1/5 of 30. Well, I know that my fraction that I'm working with is fifths because the denominator has a 5 at the bottom here. So I have drawn myself a bar model with 5 parts to it because I know I'm working with fifths. I need to work out 1/5 first of all, so I'm going to work out 1/5 of 30. And I'm going to use division to help me with that. So I'm going to write myself a calculation of 30 divided by 5. I know that 30 divided by 5 is 6. So I know that 1/5 is 6. Another 5th is also 6. And another 5th is 6 and 6 and 6. So each part of that model is 6. I know the whole amount is 30. So the whole of the bar is worth 30. And 1/5, which is this bit here, is worth 6. that shows 1/5. So I know that 1/5 of 30 is 6. I know that you could do this just by using division, and you might not need to look at a bar model for working out one part, but a bar model will help you with the next bit. So that's why we're just going to have a little practice just to see if we can get ourselves back into using bar models. So for the your turn part of this bit of the lesson, I'd like you to have a go at working out 1/3 of 18. Okay, so I'd like you in your books now, pause the video, have a go at working out 1/3 of 18, use your division to help you. So I did here, I asked myself how many 5s went into 30, 30 divided by 5. I drew myself a bar model looking at the denominator. So I drew myself a bar model with 5 squares in it. So see if you can, in your book, just draw yourself a little line with however many squares you think you're going to need to find 1/3 of 18. Pause the video, have a go, and we'll come back and look at it together. Okay, so how did you get on with that? Let's have a little look together. So I wanted to find out 1/3 of 18. Well, straight away I can use my understanding of division, and I can say to myself, 18 divided by 3 is 6. I can get 6 lots of 3 into 18. And my bar model needs to be into 3 because I'm working with thirds. Now I know that the whole amount of that bar is worth 18. So the whole lot is worth 18, but I only want to find 1/3. I just want to find that bit there. So I know that 1/3 must be 6. Another third is also 6, and another third is also 6. And I can check that back by adding those up or multiplying them by 3. So 6 and 6 and 6 is in fact 18. So I can see now that 1/3 of 18 is 6. That's my third there. Right, okay, so we're going to look at how this bar model can really help now when we're working out several parts of a whole. So here we've got 4/6. We're not just dealing with one part anymore. Right, so we're going to look at 4/6 of 24. So it's a my turn part of the lesson, so I'm going to model this bit for you, and then you're going to have a go at one in your books in a moment. So 4/6 of 24, well my denominator is 6, so I'm working with sixths. So I've drawn myself a bar with 6 equal parts to it. And I know that the whole amount of that bar is 24. So I'm just going to pop that over the top. That's what I do know. Now, to work out 4/6, I need to work out 1/6 first. Well, we did that earlier in the lesson. So I'm going to work out 1/6 of 24 by using a calculation 24 divided by 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So I now know that 1/6 is 4. If I know 1/6 is 4, because they're equal parts, because they're sixths, I know that every single one is equal to 4, because each square shows 1/6. So I can see that I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. I've got my whole amount of 24. I don't just want to find 1/6 though, do I? I need to find 4/6. So what I now need to do is I need to find 4 parts of my whole bar, 4/6. So that's the bit I need to find out because my numerator tells me that we've got to find 4 parts. So I'm going to now calculate all of those boxes here. 4, 8, 12, 16. I've now worked out 4/6 of 24, and I know that my answer is indeed 16. If I wanted to work out 5/6, I'd just add on another box, and that would be 20. And then I'd be back to my whole amount of 24 when I get to the end of my bar. We're going to do your turn now, and what I'd like you to do is see if you can calculate 3/5 of 35. I want you to look back at my modelled bit here, and I want you to think about what I did first. I calculated 1/6 first. So I want you to see if you can calculate 1/5 of 35 first. Think about your bar, think about how many parts you need in your bar. So here I was working with 6, so I needed 6 equal parts. And then when you found 1/5, can you find 3 parts of that bar? Can you find 3/5? Have a go and we'll come back and have a look at it together in a moment. How did you get on with that one? Did you recognise that we're working with fifths? And did you know that you needed to draw a bar with 5 equal parts? That's what I've done. There's my bar with 5 equal parts because I'm working with fifths. And I know that before I can find 3/5, I need to find 1/5. So I'm going to use my division. So thinking about the skills I used in my starter activity, I'm going to have a go at 35 divided by 5 because I'm working with fifths. How many 5s will go into 35? Well, that's 7. So I've now worked out 1/5. And 1/5 of 35 is 7. So I'm going to write that in that box there. Remember, that's not quite complete yet because I haven't thought about what the whole amount is. So the whole amount I know is 35. I found 1/5, but I don't need to find 1/5 now, do I? I need to find 3/5. So the bit I need to work out is that bit there. That's the bit that I'm not sure about. Well, now I found 1/5, I can carry on. So 7, another 7 is another 5th, another 7, another 7, and another 7. And I can check that back. If I do 5 lots of 7, I've got 35. Okay, so this is the bit we're trying to work out, isn't it? 3/5. So did you manage to count up 3 boxes, 3 squares, and work out that 7 and 7 and 7 is in fact 21. So 3/5 of 35 is 21. Right, so you can see that that's where the bar model really is helpful. When you're working out these trickier fractions, such as 3/5 or 4/6. So when you're working out something like 1/5 or 1/3, division is the strategy that is useful there. You can draw a bar, of course you can. But when you're finding out something a bit trickier, like 3/5 of 35, the bar can really, really help you. Because once you've found out 1/5, you can easily work out 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and so on. So based on the fact that you've just worked out 3/5 of 35, I wonder if using this bar model here, you could work out what 2/5 of 35 would be. Can you work out what 4/5 of 35 would be? Have a look, have a go, and then we'll join you in a moment for your main activities. Right, so we're going to look at our main activities now, but we're going to just do a recap. We're going to look at our steps to success. And if you're finding your activities just a little bit tricky, come back to this page and you can pause it and have a little look to remind you. So here I've got 3/5 of 20. I've worked that out to be 12. And this is how I did it. I did 20 divided by 5 because I found 1/5 first. And then I knew that 1/5 was 4. So here my bar is split into fifths. I know my whole amount is 20 and I know that 1/5 is 4. But I wanted to find out 3/5 because the numerator has a 3 in it. So there's my 3 boxes on my bar and 3 lots of 4 is 12. So I've been able to work out 3/5 of 20 by using my bar model and working out 3 parts, 3 equal parts of the bar. So steps to success then to calculate fractions of amount. When you're looking at the calculation, how many equal parts is the bar divided into? So when you draw it, how many equal parts will you need? Look at the denominator to help you with this. I always looked at the denominator and thought, yeah, I'm working with fifths, or I'm working with quarters, or I'm working with sixths, or whatever it might be. How much is the whole bar worth? So this here, this number that you're finding a fraction of the whole amount, is this here. What's the whole bar worth? So here it's worth 20. And how many equal parts do I need to find? So if you're finding 1/5, you only need to find 1 part. But in fact here I've got 3/5. So I need to find 3 parts. And that's where you need to look at the numerator to help you to work that bit out. So think about that as your go-to page if you need a little bit of help. Let's have a look at your chilies now.
Right, Chilly Ones, this is your activity. So pause the video now, Chilly Ones, and have a go at working through these calculations. Draw yourself a bar model. Don't forget, think about your steps of success. So here, 1/4 of 24, you can see that the denominator is a 4. So you'll need to draw a bar model of 4 equal parts. When you found out 1/4, that will help you to work out 3/4 and so on. Have a go, Chilly Ones, and we'll come back later with the answers. Chilly Twos, this is your activity. So again, have a little look, pause the video, and remember, when we're working out 3/4 of 28, work out 1/4 first and then solve the problem. So think about looking at the denominator to think about how many equal parts you need in your bar model. Pause the video, have a go, and we'll come back in a minute to mark your work. Chilly Threes, this is your activity. Again, using a bar model to help you, you can work out these calculations using your understanding also of division. And here you've got a challenge to see if you can work out these more complex problems. Pause the video and we'll come back to have a look in a moment at the answers. Chilly Ones, how did you get on with that? Here are your answers, and you can get yourself a pen, mark your own work, pause the video and have a little look to see how you got on with that. Chilly Twos, this is your answer sheet, so pause the video now and mark your work to see how you got on. Chilly Threes, this is your answer sheet, so pause the video now and mark your work. And stay put because we've got some more challenges for you to have a look at in just a moment. Right, okay, so if you'd like to challenge yourself further, this challenge is something you might like to try. So Mrs. Rose needs some carrots for the school kitchen, and a large bag has 200 carrots and a medium bag has 3/5 of a large bag. Now Mrs. Rose says that she needs 150 carrots, so she'll have to buy a large bag of carrots. Is she correct? Use your jottings, your bar model in your home learning book and see if you can work out whether she is indeed correct or incorrect. We'll have a look at the answers in just a moment. Right, okay, so here are the answers for that. So Mrs. Rose is in fact correct because 3/5 of a large bag of 200 carrots is 120, but she needs 150. So she's going to have to buy a large bag, otherwise she won't have enough carrots. I wonder how many carrots she'll actually have left over. Maybe you could work that out. Stay put and we'll have a look at another challenge. Right, so we've got another challenge here for you. So these 3 squares are 1/4 of a whole shape. So we don't know how many squares are in the whole shape. We only know that 1/4 of this whole shape is 3 squares. So can you now work out how many different shapes you can draw that could be the complete shape? Pause the video, have a go, see how many you can calculate, and then we'll look at the answers in a moment. So you could have lots of different answers for this one, but the really important thing is that your overall shape should have 12 squares in total, because if we know that that's 1/4, then if we look at those 3 and another 3 and another 3 and another 3, that will total 12 squares altogether. So whatever shape you've come up with is right as long as it has 12 squares in your completed shape. In a moment, we're going to come back and look at how we've got on this week with TT Rockstars and My Maths. Join you in a moment.
Right, so we've come to the part of the lesson now where we're going to look at how everybody's getting on My Maths and TT Rockstars. So we're going to look at the leaderboard of TT Rockstars, and we've got some familiar names. However, at the top of our leaderboard in year 4 for 4EP is Oliver H. So well done, Oliver. That's amazing work. Superb. Keep it up. And in 4M, we've got Finley W. Excellent work, Finley. You're doing really, really well there. That's brilliant. Jaden D is in 4B. Brilliant work, Jaden. So proud of you. Well done. And in 4S, we've got Harley V. Excellent work, Harley. Keep it up. Superb. So well done to those leaders on TT Rockstars. Now we're going to be thinking about the most earnings, so the amount of coins that people have earned over the time. So in first place we have, again, Oliver H in 4EP. Excellent, Oliver, well done to you. And in second place we have Alex K, also in 4EP. Fantastic work, Alex, well done to you. And Joshua C in 4B, well done, that's fantastic. So you've done really well there. And Matty W in 4M, excellent work, Matty, keep it up. This is great work. I wonder maybe if somebody else could be creeping into these leaderboards next time. Best class on My Maths this week goes to 4B. Well done, 4B, that's fantastic, excellent. Okay, so that's the end of our maths lesson now. I hope you've enjoyed it. Keep working hard, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.